Welcome to our channel Mystery Revealed Cinema Sins Recaps. Today, we will explain the comedy Hollywood movie of 2013 titled 21 and Above. So sit tight and enjoy. Without wasting time, let's start the movie. In the opening scene, we see two young boys, Miller and Casey, walking butt naked onto the streets of a beautiful campus. Both of them are seen comforting each other, saying, "None of that ever happened." The movie switched to the scene where Miller is sitting in a taxi admiring the campus buildings. The driver asks him whether he studies here or not, to which he replies that his best friend from high school goes to this college. En route to his best friend's place, he picks his friend Casey from Stanford. Both greet each other and have the most awkward conversation about each other's sisters one cannot even imagine. They finally reach Jeff Chang's place, which they come to surprise for his 21st birthday. Miller told Jeff to cancel all his plans because Miller wants to take him out to a party for his birthday. Jeff refuses as he says he has a medical school interview tomorrow morning. It pisses Miller off, and he tells Jeff that he's turning 21 and he does not even have to ask for his father's permission anymore. When he says that, Jeff Chang's father comes out of his room and looks quite angry to see Jeff's best friends from high school. He makes a very uncanny remark saying he did not know that his son still associated with such people. Jeff says that he had no idea his friends were coming. His father curses the young boys and strictly advises Jeff to be ready at 7 a.m. for his interview with Dr. Collins. This makes Jeff overwhelmed with fear and embarrassment, and he goes on to tell his friends that he cannot go out. Casey understands his situation and supports his decision, but Miller, an asshole, does not listen. He sat him down and told him how important it is to go out, drink and have fun tonight because 21 is a journey of a boy finally becoming a man. He begins his argument by saying that it would be disrespectful to all Americans if he did not go out tonight and later warns him that he will stand out by his window all night air honking if he did not go out. Jeff Chang finally agrees to go out with his two high school best friends. In the next scene, we see all three getting wasted at a bar. Casey asks Jeff Chang if he had heard the song that is playing, to which Jeff replies that he does not even know when the last time he listened to music at a concert. Miller asks both of his friends if they are still up for the music festival they talked about. Casey says, "Aren't they too old to do all of this now?" This aggravates Miller, and he says that it might be the last summer they all spend together, so they have to make the best out of it. Casey tells all of them about the job he will have in New York after graduation, to which everyone congratulates him. Meanwhile, one of Jeff's friends, Nicole, spots him at the bar and comes to greet him on his birthday. He introduces Nicole to all of his friends. Miller tries to play it extra, but Nicole gets more impressed by Casey. After that, Jeff and Miller leave while Casey and Nicole sit down to talk more. Miller and Jeff are seen taking shots and talking about how Casey has become a nerd. On the other hand, Casey tells Nicole that he is working throughout his last year of college, to which she replies that he needs to chill and enjoy this moment. Suddenly, a scene occurs where Jeff is throwing a dart, and instead of it hitting the board, it hits a guy's face. A fight breaks out between that boy named Randy and Jeff, to which Miller says that it was just an accident. The boy gets furious and throws a stool towards Jeff that hits him right in the stomach, and he falls. They both freak out and head towards Casey to get him out of the club. Nicole waves him goodbye, and they all go out. Casey tells Miller that they should probably get Jeff home now, but Jeff is drunk to the fullest. He laughs it off and sees a bouncer who does not let him into the club due to him not being 21. He goes towards him being drunk, shows him his ID, curses him, and goes into the club frantically. The next scene shows him and his friends drinking and dancing like wild animals in different clubs. Jeff Chang is totally wasted and starts peeing himself onto other people up to this moment. Casey and Miller take him out of the club and realize that they lost track of their location, and now they are in the middle of nowhere. Casey asks Jeff where he lives, but he is too drunk to even be in his right mind. Casey and Miller try to figure out how to get him home. They both hold Jeff and start walking into the unknown. Casey blames Miller that because of him, Jeff is in this position. What if he did not show up for his interview tomorrow? Miller says that Jeff should have thought about this before coming out to drink. Amidst their discussion, Casey finds a gun in Chang's pocket and freaks out. He asks Miller if Jeff was okay or not, to which he says he does not know as they do not talk that much now. Both of them continue their journey in hopes of finding Jeff's friend Nicole who might know where he lives. They find a house, ring the doorbell, and two girls come out. They ask for Nicole, to whom they tell them that no visitors are allowed after 11, and they shut the door on their faces. This intrigues them, and they climb up into the house in hopes of finding Nicole. Casey and Miller take Jeff in the girls' bathroom and tie him up there. They both go out to look for Nicole, but the house seems rather creepy, with weird symbols and girls' names hanging up in each room. Miller suspects something is wrong with that place. Suddenly a sound is heard from the room, and they both head towards a room where they find two blindfolded women asking to be spanked their ass for not obeying the rules of the hostel. Yet another one finds Jeff in the bathroom and assumes she is her friend making all those weird noises. Until now, both Miller and Casey were having fun spanking those blindfolded girls, and they ordered them to make out for disobeying the rules, after which they start kissing each other passionately, but suddenly everyone finds out that there are 3 men in the building. All the women chase them out of the house. All 3 boys try to escape by throwing Jeff into the pool but fall onto the rose garden. They manage to escape and finally find the place where Nicole lives. They ask if she knows about Jeff Chang's whereabouts, but surprisingly she had no idea. This leaves them back to square one again with absolutely no clue about Jeff Chang's house. The adventure begins when Nicole offers the boys a party with her in her minicar to find out more information on Chang's location. They run into Randy, who is supposed to be Nicole's boyfriend and has Chang's address at the party. He tries to take revenge for the dart Jeff threw at him, but Miller scares him off with the gun he found in Chang's pocket. He fires it in the air, and everyone at the party starts running, and it becomes insanely crowded. A bull present there freaks out and starts running like crazy. He hits Randy in the back, giving the boys ample time to escape. All 3 boys escape the party in a golf cart with finally having Jeff's address. The next scene begins with Jeff's father hysteric about his son missing and not answering. Miller and Casey land on the address, thinking it's Jeff's house, but yet again, it is the wrong address and a party is going on. On their mission to take Jeff home, they keep finding new information about him from a Chinese girl that cops once arrested him. She tells them to find out the party's host to get more information. Both Miller and Casey go out to find the host and run into the bouncer, who tells them they have to clear the task to reach the 8th floor of the house to get this information. Miller and Casey leave Jeff behind with stoners at the party to get his address. They start partying with other people there to reach the 8th floor, and when they go on the 7th floor, they again interact with Nicole. She left them after knowing that her boyfriend was in the hospital. When they reach the 8th floor, they interact with the guy sitting on the throne with 2 hot ladies. They asked him about Jeff's address, but they got the same answer again. But he told them that Jeff tried to kill someone in the high school. The information shocks Miller and Casey, arguing what exactly is going on with Jeff Chang. Jeff Chang again starts drinking and acting weird. Miller and Casey see him from the window wearing a bra and doing a funny dance that everyone enjoyed and took videos. Before they reach there, he again escapes in the wilderness with both Casey and Miller trying to chase him. On their way to catch Jeff, they run into his father, who is furious and suspects both of them in the inconvenience of his son. Meanwhile, Jeff gets arrested by the cops while he is running, but he is too drunk to realize anything. Miller and Casey go to the police station to get a hold of their friend, but the cop tells them that the authorities have taken him to some health service. This intrigues them, and they ask to go there. A camera security officer Kara offers to take them to Jeff. They follow her outside and get abducted by a bunch of women. It turns out those were the same women who kicked them out of the house for breaking in. The next scene begins with both Miller and Casey sitting butt naked on a chair and a satanic ritual was commencing in front of them. They both were shackled in chains and a woman was standing in front of them wearing a goat's mask referring to the Satan. She proclaimed that the 2 men were accused of invading their sacred space. They sentenced the 2 men a punishment of beating and the 2 girls they spanked earlier start spanking them on their butts with a bat and asks them to make out with one another, after which they both kiss each other. A party turned into a complete nightmare. The next scene take us back to how the movie started. We see Miller and Casey walking butt naked in the campus and blaming each other for the chaos that happened last night. They both start fighting with one another. The scene breaks when we see Miller and Casey walking into a healthcare hospital trying to find Jeff Chang. The nurse does not let them see Jeff, so they snatch the file out of her hands. It puts them into shock to know that Jeff Chang tried to commit suicide. They always thought Jeff was a happy person en route to become a doctor, but he was nothing like what they assumed. Both of them gets a little upset over it and thinks of a plan to help Jeff escape again. But just then they saw the chief coming out, the weird man they saw dancing outside Jeff's house. He tells them he was high on drugs and kept dancing the entire night outside his house. This is when they realized that all this time they were right beside Jeff's house but couldn't figure it out. They both ran towards Jeff where they saw he is bit conscious now. They were worried that his interview is in half an hour and they have to get him home to his father. In order to be hasty, they throw Jeff out of the building on a car. Jeff steals the car and try to escape frantically with both Miller and Casey. A scene is shown where Jeff Chang's father is furiously packing his suitcase and leaving the house. All 3 of them finally reach Jeff Chang's house, gets him ready for the interview, but then he told them he is not sure if he wants to be a doctor anymore. This put both Casey and Miller off and they finally ask Jeff if he tried to kill himself, to which he replied that he was studying for 72 hours straight and was overworked and on pills. He did not deliberately try to kill himself, the stress and the pills just hallucinated him. Jeff finally confesses that he hates medicine and does not want to be a doctor like his father, but he cannot tell the truth. A knock is heard on the door. They assume it is Jeff's father, but when he opens the door, it is Randy, who punches him hard and starts breaking everything in Jeff's house, and suddenly Jeff's father walks in. He asks him for his interview, but he refuses and tells him the truth. Jeff's father tries to force him to go for an interview, on which Miller punches Jeff's father in the face, which shocks both Casey and Jeff. He then leaves all three of them alone and does not say a word to them. In the end, Randy apologizes to him and hugs Jeff, and tells him to always listen to his heart. These words sum up the entire movie. Casey rushes towards Nicole to stop him from going for the trip alone, but he sees her car is leaving, but suddenly Nicole shows up there, and he asks her to go with him on a trip, after which they both kiss each other passionately. The movie ends with all three friends and Nicole dancing in a music festival they all were planning about. Turned out Miller was right all along that you have to do what your heart desires, and not what the society tells you to do. Finally, Miller went to get admission in the high school again and saw the same weird man who looked like a hippie as a university principal. I hope you liked the video. Please do like and subscribe for more entertaining movie recaps.